In today's video, we'll be looking at this 1925 Singer 31-15 tailoring sewing machine for light and medium heavy fabrics. And I'm just going to go over the oiling points on the machine for right now. And if I think of anything else along the way, I'll throw that in too. It's pretty basic. You want to get some good sewing machine oil, and you're going to see these different holes along the top of the machine that actually have oil written on them. If yours are worn out, you've got one over here by the hand wheel, two holes right here, another one by this spool pin, another hole here, and then this hole will drop oil down into the take-up lever here and here. You're oiling the pivot points there. And you can also put a little bit of oil on the needle bar coming out of the machine right here. These machines are pretty simple design, so once you get it cleaned up and oiled, this should turn over real easily. Then you're going to see a hole right here, which actually this hole will let oil drip down into the cross shaft on the bottom, which I'll be showing you in a minute here. Then you have another little cap here you can unscrew to put oil down this hole. And that's about it along the top. So let's move on to the bottom of the machine. Here you can see the mechanism on the bottom of the 3115. It's pretty easy to know where to oil. I simply turn over the hand wheel and you'll see all the parts that are moving. Some of the parts here will actually have oiling holes in them where you can put oil right down in there. And the hole that was on the top that we looked at just a moment ago feeds oil down into this area. Corresponding over here to oil this shaft through this part of the casting, they actually put a hole down here in the casting. If yours doesn't have that, just feel free to oil the edge of this shaft. And then it's pretty simple. Just basically turn your hand wheel. You're going to see where these shafts end on these pivot points. Go ahead and oil all of these. This is the spring mechanism for your knee lift. If you use the knee lift on your machine, this will lift your presser foot. And just go along, oil all these points, and you're going to, as you tip this way, you're going to look right down in here is the mechanism. You can see these 2 points back here that move the lever for the feed dogs, and also you can put 1 drop of oil right back in here. There's a race that the hook is moving back and forth in. Oil that, and then right up in the very corner you're going to see a round shaft with a fork on it. Oil that. That is controlling your feed dogs going up and down as they move forwards and backwards. So let's move around to the side. Here we are on the face plate side of the sewing machine. You can loosen these 2 screws on the 3115 and just lift this plate up and out of the way. Since I purchased the machine, I haven't cleaned inside here, so you're going to notice it's pretty dirty looking, but I'll still go ahead and show you what you should oil in here. It'll be pretty obvious that you're going to see these moving points here that are going to need to be oiled. There is one thing you want to make sure you don't miss. Follow this. This is the screw that you would tighten and loosen to set your timing. Follow this shaft all the way back, and you're going to see a round roller inside of a shaft in the back, which holds this piece keeps this in a straight line when it goes up and down. Make sure you get oil on that. And then all these other moving parts, obviously, your needle bar. And when you get done oiling the machine, it should turn over very smoothly. Now, if you just found the machine in storage and it was really tight when you picked it up, you might have to let that oil soak in for a day or two just to really get into all the nooks and crannies where it needs to get to properly lubricate the machine. Obviously, I'm doing this for demonstration purposes for this video, but I will go ahead and clean all of this out later and and re-oil everything. There's also a bar that's going to move up and down in a shaft for your presser foot. You can oil that right here, and then also in the back you're going to see where this rubs up and down. And then you can just take the time to look at all these parts in here. There's a linkage that should move when you lift your presser foot. This linkage in here should be moving properly to release your upper tension, and everything else should be moving freely. Alright, that's about it on oiling a 3115. Using the proper needle in your Singer 3115 is very important. Here's an original needle package. It shows the needle to be a 16 by 87. This just happens to be a size 18 needle. Well, you can still find that these needles, 16 by 87, they cost a little bit more. The same needle in a modern package is going to be this one here. It's the DPx5, as you can see right here on the label. And so this would be the modern equivalent for the 3115 Singer. And yeah, it's important to get the right needle. You can use a regular sewing thread in this machine with a smaller needle, like a size 14. And if you want to go with a bigger thread for outdoors, this is what you can get away with. You can get away with up to a T70 bonded nylon. Perhaps a T90, that might be pushing it depending on where you got your thread and how thick it is. But that's a few of the things you can use on the 3115 as far as your needles and your thread. Hopefully everybody knows this is a class 15 size bobbin on this machine, which are readily available also. So we're looking at a 100-year-old machine that you can still find everything you need to make it run properly.